Hello, everybody. Hello. I am Judy, and my business is Vintage to Chic. If you're watching me on Facebook, I hope you'll share us out to your friends and come back and watch us again. And if you're watching me on YouTube, I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and follow along. I've got a few other videos on YouTube. Haven't been on there very long, but I'm trying to build it up a little bit. I found this little architecture piece at a thrift store, and I thought it's just a neat little piece with lots of design and stuff on it. So I'm going to paint it kind of in an old world or Tuscan design. And I love the metallics, and my preference is the darker shades of metallics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some metallics and my black to make a color that I like. So I think I'm going to do this one in a bronze. So I'm going to use Folk Arts. This is Folk Art bronze, solid bronze it says, in metallic. Now the metallics are hard to get a color on there and just use them by themselves. So they're best when you mix them with something else. So what I'm going to do is put some of this on my palette over here. I use a wet palette. I'm just going to squirt out. I want to try to mix enough at one time to complete this whole project, to paint it the whole thing. And I'm not sure if I will have to paint it one coat or two coats, but I'm going to give it a try. So I'm going to do some black. I've got some copper metallic here, and I'm going to take my black, just a regular black paint. I think mine's Americana, and I'm going to mix those two together. And I'm going to continue to add that black to it until I get a color that is appealing to me. Sometimes I might leave it a little on the lighter side. Sometimes I'll take it on to a darker thing. But we'll use this, and then we'll use some waxes and stuff to vary the colors on it and make it a really nice piece, which you could use on your mantle. If you decorate the old world design, then you can use it in a lot of different settings in your house. Now, I'm still not sure that's enough that I need, so I'm going to mix me just a little bit more in there. Take a little more of the copper and a little more of the black. Okay, I think that looks pretty good to me. It's really hard to tell until you get it on your project. But when you put a second coat on there, you can always come back and kind of change the color, some when you put the second coat on there. Now I'm going to start right down here at the bottom. I have cleaned this piece, just took a wire brush to it and cleaned it out the best that I could in the little nooks and crannies. And I sprayed it with one coat of a Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 white spray paint in a matte finished. So I've done that. And I'm going to go in here now, and I'm just going to paint this copper, put a coat of this all over my piece here. And I think I like that color. Once you start getting it on there and you see what it looks like, you can always change. You can add you a little more color to it or change it a little bit, but I think I like that. And it really doesn't show up much until you get your waxes. Start putting your other colors on there. After we get it all done, we'll go back and use some waxes and some varnishes and stuff on it to change the colors, to give it a little bit of variation. Okay. I'm going to cover this whole thing with the metallics. I love using the metallics, but I nearly always mix them. If I'm going to use the one that's just to make it that particular color, then I try to match a color. Say I'm going to use a teal metallic, I'll take a teal colored of paint and put it on that piece first, and then put the metallic on as the second coat, and you'll get a truer color of what you're trying to, what you want to put on there, if you want it to be that particular color. This is a real quick little project. You can do it in 30 minutes or so. No big deal. Real fast. See, I went all the way around that bottom, and you can see there what the color is. I may not even have to put another coat. We'll see how that dries as we go up into the rest of it. I'm using an old brush that's about half wore out because I wanted the little bit of stiffness to get down in those cracks real good. So I don't want to use a good brush and then have to fool with it like that and just ruin a good brush. So I keep the brushes that I have used And this is what you do with them when they're about half wore out. Then they're good for this kind of project. I'm just taking my brush and stippling it, kind of stippling it till I get that paint all down in those little holes. Okay. I love the design on that one. It's got a lot of really pretty design on the inside of that space. See there how pretty that little design is in there? Now I'm just going to work my way right on around till I get all the way to the top. We're at fall in Tennessee and soon be Christmas before we know it. Kind of starting to work on other things for that goes past Christmas, everyday things. Usually Christmas stuff you're working on when you're a crafter or you're selling, then you're working on Christmas stuff in June. You start in June and July to try to get all your inventory done. I have 2 Etsy shops. One I sell my finished pieces from, which is vintage2chic.etsy.com, and then I have another one where I sell digital designs, and it is also vintage to chic, but it's vintage2chicdesigns.etsy.com. Crafting and painting and all this has been my love for 50 years. I've been in this business for a long, long time. See, this is a fast project. If you need something for a gift, you can do this one day and have it ready the next to give as a gift. Great, be beautiful on a mantle with a lot of other pieces to go along with it. I'm having to work my brush now to get down in those little holes. Just got to make sure you get all that covered down in there. See, I'm around to the 4th side. See that? That's a pretty color. Right on down to this side. Okay. Goes on real easy. This is just acrylics. All of it's acrylic colors. I buy a lot of metallics from Hobby Lobby because I like to pick them out. I just pick by the color. I don't ever pay attention to what the label says. I just look to see what the color looks like, and that's what I go with. Okay, see, we're all the way around that bottom now. Those little pieces, we're working right on up. I have a Facebook page under the same name. If you're over on Facebook, you can visit us over there. or here on YouTube, either one. If you have a question, just shoot me a message. I'd be happy to answer them for you. Help you with anything I can. One more section done. Well, these are kind of intricate up here, so I've got to get up in these spots. It's like working in fast motion, but I'm not. Speed. This is a fast, like I said, a very fast project. This will either go in my Etsy shop or be on one of my auctions. Make sure I get all those little spots covered. I think I'm going to have enough to paint it. I thought I mixed enough. I hope so. Sometimes you have to go back and mix a little more, but I think I've got it. I like the color. You see this good in the camera there, and I like it. Getting up here now where I get it all over my hands, trying to get around the spots here at the top. Okay, now I'm going to try to hold the bottom a little bit. I think the bottom's dry enough for me to hold on to. Try to get this top piece painted. Never be afraid to experiment. You're going to, especially with the metallics, when you know, sometimes, a lot of times people ask me what I put on that, and I honestly can't tell them, because sometimes I mix 2 or 3 together. And then, you know, when you're doing so much, you know, like we do, I don't remember what I have put on that piece that created that thing, and I could never go back and create it again, because I'll sit here with 2 or 3 different metallics and my black, and I'll mix them until I get something on my palette that I really like. And if I want pieces to match, I don't, you know, I try to mix enough at one time to get them done. Okay. Because trying to go back and match a piece after you've already painted it and take another piece and match it, you get close, but it's almost impossible to do that. Okay, I think I've got that on there. I think I've got my bronze on there. Could go back after we're done. We could go back and put some bling on this one. If you want to bling it out real good, you can do that with the little beads and stuff. Glue them on. But today we're going to just do the waxes and the paints. Turn it up now, make sure I got all those spots down there. Okay, I think I've got it covered. Boy, that's pretty just like it is. See, it took me about 15 minutes to paint that on there, and I don't think I need another coat on it, since I'm going to put the waxes, put some rub and buff and some other colors on there, so I don't really think I need another coat of paint on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dryer and I'm going to dry it real quick. So give me just a second here to make sure all my spots are covered. Because when you go back down and look and turn it up, you see some bare spots. That's pretty just like it is. See how pretty that is? Okay, now I'm going to set this brush aside, and I'm going to get my dryer over here and dry it a little bit. Okay, just take a couple of minutes here, push that paint over to the side. Now I'm going to get out my waxes, and I like these. These are, let's see what that, Finnabar. These are Finnabar antiquing waxes, and these I like really well in the tubes like this. I'm going to get me out I have a bronze. I have a rich copper here, rich copper wax, and then I'm going to get some gold rub and buff, and just a few different ones here, and just kind of play with them a little bit. Okay, so I'm done with my paint, and I'm going to start right here at the top, and I'm going to take me a little piece of my my rag here that I've got, and we'll cut me off a little piece. I like to kind of wrap that around my finger, I use old t-shirts for, you know, for working out here in my shop. So I'm just going to take this and wrap it around my finger, and I'm going to put me some waxes out over here on my palette. I'm just going to kind of smear some down my palette there, so when I get into it, I won't be getting into a big glob of it. I'm just going to kind of sneak into it. I've already got it all over my hands. It's easy to do. Okay, then I put out a little bit of copper. I'm going to put out a little bit of gold rubbing buff. And I've got one here called a red flame. Let's see if we touch it, a little bit of that. So I'm just going to play back and forth with them. May get out some more. Just going to play till it gets something that I really like. So I'm going to start right down here on the bottom with this copper and see what kind of color I get. Oh, I like that. Now see how you can see that little copper part down there on the bottom? I'm just going to hit and miss as I go around this thing. I'm not going to cover that whole thing with copper. I'm just going to hit and miss with some of that copper color up through there. The more colors, the more variation you put on there, the better it's going to look. So you want to play with a lot of different colors when you're using the waxes. See, now I've put it around the bottom. See how that color changes around that bottom there? See when I slide it around the color? Now I'm going to come right on up my piece here, put a little bit in here. I'm going to take this copper, just a hit and a miss, all the way up my piece. Then I'll do another color that comes up through there. Okay. Gotta put me out some more. Since I know I like it, I think I'll just leave it in my hand and squirt it out on my paper here. Okay. So that I don't have too much on my towel at one time, I just kind of blot it over here on my paper, and that way I don't have a big gob of it on the end of my piece there. This is just something you do to your liking. Whatever color of metallics you like, or whatever color of waxes you want to accent it with, that would be your choice. Nothing says you have to do it any particular way. But I do love these Finnabar waxes. Most of the time I get them on Etsy a lot of times. So if you just put that in your Etsy search, you'll find a lot of them. Okay, now I've got the bronze almost, except this little top knot right here. I've got the bronze all the way up through there. Now I'm going to hit this a few times. Don't have to varnish these kind of pieces. When you put these waxes on here, you can go back the next day after about 24 hours and buff this real good with just a clean, soft towel. And it'll just bring out the shine in it and make it stand out for you. Okay? Now, see how pretty that is? That is really pretty. Now, I'm going to put the lid on that one. And I'm going to go, boy, I need to clean my lids out. They are a mess. Now, I'm going to go back to a little bit of the gold. Oh, I've already got some gold out over here. Use my same spot on my towel here, on my rag. Just pick up a little bit of gold, and I'm going to go in here and hit it with a little bit of gold. Work my way down this time instead of coming up. See how much sparkle that little bit of gold puts on there? Go right in here. So I'm just mixing the copper and the gold as I go around through there. Just play with what you got and never be afraid, because you can't mess it up. You can always redo it and put a different color on there. See, that gold just stands out with that copper. Just kind of pops out there. Now, hold it this way and put a little bit of the gold down here. Just a little here and there. See, we're just about done with this piece. Quick, quick, quick. This is so elegant and striking. You could fit this in any, it would look good in any home, in any room. You could just about use it in any room. Be gorgeous in an office, even in a man's office. Ooh, that is pretty. See how pretty that is? Now I've got a little bit of a color up here. Let's see, this is called red. This is red flame. Let's hit it a few times with that and see what we get. Okay, I done put some of that out too. Boy, my mind's whacked today. Okay, now I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to hit this a little bit right here. Yep, just another. I'm not going to put as much as this, of this one. But I'm just going to go around and just kind of hit it a few times with that red in a few little spots. It's red flame, and they're all, this one is a Finnabar wax too. I like that. That just stands right out. Okay, now see all the different colors down there, how pretty that is. Now let's go right up here and hit it a little bit up here in a few spots with the red. Bling, it's got so many spots on it where you could put bling. I may just do that. If I put the bling on it, I'll decide that by tomorrow after it's set and I've buffed it a little bit. If I do, I'll make another video, so watch for it. I'll make another video showing you how to bling it out. Just use a little bling of different kinds and put it on with the E7000. Because there's so many little spots on here where you could add some little bit of diamonds or whatever you want to call them, the crystals and stuff on it. Okay, oh, that is pretty, and I think I'm done with it. See, now it had a stuff on the bottom. I will put another piece of, like a piece of velvet or something to cut it for that bottom. See how pretty that is? We've been 30 minutes. That's a good quick class, really quick. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll spread it out and let your friends know. Like I said, if you're watching on Facebook, spread it out to get it out there. And if you're on my YouTube page, then come back again and watch us, or watch some more of the videos and help me to grow a little bit. I'll catch you later, ladies. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.